Well, there's a
So
toy I
mate,
had as a kid.
with all the inspiration you get watching, YouTube channels, you never think about doing a YouTube channel yourself, mate, because you have the knowledge and the collection. You never thought, oh, I'll give this a go.
I could do your graphics.
Well, me?
One eternity later.
Welcome, toy fans, to episode 1 of Action Pop Dad, or APD for short. Today we're going to be looking at doing Star Wars on the cheap. Cue them up.
Whoa, whoa, whoa! That's my line. Cue the march. Bloody cheek.
You get a gold-plated Rolls Royce, as long as you pay for it.
Don't know, Tom. Seems expensive.
Before I look into a few of the bits that I've managed to collect for my Star Wars on the cheap run, I think it's probably worth saying that my main collection is vintage Action Man. So I've had some experience in collecting toys and knowing when things are pricey and when you should hold and when's the time to pull the trigger. And I've also put most of my Action Man collection together on a budget, and I will be doing another video about that collection, and you'll be able to see with those that I've managed to amass a really nice collection by putting in the work and taking the time to find it. So as I say, that will be another video, but now we're going to get into having a look at some of the bits and pieces I've picked up along the way. Here's some of my collection up close, and I'm very proud of them. They're a little bit worn, they're a little bit battered. I can appreciate that there are a couple of nice figures in there. For example, I've got this Last 17 Anakin Skywalker, which came in a job lot, and I got that job lot for an absolute steal. It was under £200. I got a boxed ATST, I got a couple of boxed mini rigs, one boxed mini rig, a boxed speeder bike, and I really did score lucky on that. A friend who I work with, he had a load of toys from his childhood, and he said to me, I'm getting rid of them. I looked at them and he came up with a price, and I said, I'm going to be honest with you, dude, you're not charging enough, in my opinion. And he said, I don't care, I just want them to go to somebody who's going to appreciate them. So we struck a deal, and quite a few of them are here, along with what you saw in the video earlier. There are options for weapons. I'm certainly not coveting original weapons, so I will be going down the reproduction route for my weapons. I know that that can be a little bit of a divisive subject in the toy community, but each to their own. If you want all original, have all original. Fantastic. If you want minty, have minty. If you want on card, have on card. If you're happy to search through rummage bins, find job lots on eBay with the odd Star Wars toy in that you see, if you only want to spend a few pounds on toys and you don't mind but they're not the best out there, then go that route. There's no right or wrong way to collect, in my opinion. As long as you're happy, just do you. These toys were toys that children had a lot of fun with. And when you see things like this Stormtrooper and you see battle damage that some child's put on him years ago, I can't help but think, wow, this guy's had some adventures. How wicked's that? He's yellowed. I don't know what's gone on here. He's got a reproduction blaster in his hand because I had one spare, so I popped it in there. But there's a charm to this. I am fortunate that Luke kindly sent me over a recarded Stormtrooper, and he is pretty minty. And he's great, and I'm probably going to keep him on this card. It's a clamshell, as I've said, it's a recard. I'm very grateful for this gift. On display, this is going to look fantastic. I really don't think there is anything wrong with going down the route of recarding things either. But as I've said, each to their own. Just enjoy it. I've got a very strict budget in my head for what I want to spend on things. I have been lucky, as I said, with a few bargain finds. I've been lucky in as much as friends in the community have gifted me a few of these figures. Luke certainly has, Dave Toy Palitoy has. It's fantastic to have this hobby because there's no rush to complete this. I'm not looking to suddenly get every figure ever made or every vehicle ever made. Sometimes the chase is better than the catch, and if I'm wandering along one day and there's a charity shop and I find a little guy like this for a few pence in a box, I'm going to pick him up. As I say, I don't think there's anything wrong with that at all. I'm very grateful that Luke's doing this collaboration with me. I'm pretty sure he's going to go into prices on eBay and what have you, so I'm going to hand it over to Luke now.
Okay, so before we get started, the one piece of advice that I would give anybody, now if you're already doing it on a budget and you're well into it, then that's fair enough, but a lot of people, when they decide they're doing Star Wars collecting on a budget, it's often because they're just starting out. So the one thing I would recommend is get some sort of guidebook. So do a little bit of research, not necessarily for prices, but just to see what comes with what figure, and I'll show you what I mean by that. So this book is fantastic for reference. So when you get to page, I think it's 83, it then goes into all the vintage Star Wars figures. So not only does it show you what sort of card backs they came on, but it shows you what came with the figures. So weapons and accessories. Now I say this because when I started recollecting vintage Star Wars figures, the first figure I picked up was Chewie. Now he didn't have his bowcaster with him when I picked him up, but it was just a bare figure. It was a great price and I got all excited, picked him up, and then straight away started carrying on and looking for other figures. And the mistake I made was the second figure I picked up was this guy. So the ATST driver, and as you can see, he comes with the Endor blaster. Now I picked him up for a really good price, and he came with a huge rifle, and obviously I thought that was the gun for him, and when I did a little bit more research I realised it was the incorrect blaster. Now it didn't really matter because I'd not paid a lot for it, however, just an inconvenience. And the blaster was not only the incorrect blaster, it wasn't even Star Wars, so it just shows you just a tiny bit of research before you go into it, just to make sure that you know what should come with that figure and you are buying the correct items. But you didn't come here to look at a book, you came here to look at some figures, so let's do that. And there we go everybody. So as you can see, this is just a few of my vintage Star Wars figures, and there is only one figure on that table that cost me over £10. So I'm going to base this on £10 or under. Every single figure that you can see, barring one, I did not pay more than £10 for. So the first bit of advice I would say to you is, if you're doing this on a budget, just try to manage your expectations, because at the end of the day, if you're doing it on a budget, you aren't going to get minty figures. You do need to manage your expectations and just understand that your figures may be what they call beaters. But when you look at my table there are some really good condition figures there. So again, that is just a case of maybe being a little bit patient and just sort of buying when you feel the time is right. You can get good figures on a budget, but generally they will be, you know, maybe a little bit worse for wear. So there's only one figure on that table that cost me more than £10, and if you know your Star Wars, you will probably be able to tell me which one that is. Have you figured it out? Of course, it is this guy. So vintage Boba Fett. The chances are, if you want one of these, you will probably have to pay more than £10, but not a huge amount more, maybe 20 to 25 you could probably get one for in this condition. As you can see, a lot of paint missing on his chest and his helmet, but my favourite vintage figure of all time. Love this guy, very closely followed by Luke Bespin, as you can see just there. But like I said, if you look at some of these figures, and they did come with weapons. Now, granted, most of them are reproduction, but they came with them, and again, still under £10. So manage your expectations, and if you know what you're looking for, you understand your budget, and you know what you want to buy, then it can be done. In my opinion, 75% of the 96 vintage figures can be done for £10 or under. Obviously, the original 12 are always going to cost you a little bit more. However, I think if you buy well and carefully, some of those can be done for £10 or under. But of course, once you get to the last 17, then no, that cannot obviously be done. They bring a lot of money. So yeah, obviously you've got to understand that once you're collecting, by the time you get to looking at the last 17, you've probably been doing it for a while by then, and you will know the sort of money that they're going to bring.
Are you serious? I'm dead serious.
But like I said, 75% I think can be done. Now, if you look at some of these figures, I mean, for example, let's look at Hoth Han. Now again, always missing a bit of paint on his gloves, but for under £10, came with a blaster. I don't think you can go wrong. I don't think you can go wrong. And like I said, it can be done. Just be patient, shop well, shop careful, and you should be fine. I mean, for example, look at this attack driver. Now, I love this figure. This should be my top 5, really. In fact, it probably is. So, sorry about the white balance, everybody, but really good. His decals you can't really see, but his decals are there. They're often rubbed off. Came with a gun as well. Under £10. You know, as long as you do it right and you do it well, then it can be done. So I'm going to give you a few hints and tips. Now, obviously, Facebook groups are usually very good for picking up cheap Star Wars figures. However, the problem is most Star Wars Facebook groups are very, very popular, and trying to claim figures before someone else has claimed them is virtually an impossibility. So if you're going to do Star Wars groups on Facebook, just try to sort of be on it regular if you can, but we all work, so busy lives, very difficult. eBay, unfortunately, it can be a little bit cutthroat on eBay, but it's still probably the best place to pick up vintage figures. Now, what I will always say to you is, again, look for cheapest first. Sometimes ending soonest is a good option as well, but there are two particular sellers that I use a lot on eBay. They are very, very good for cheap vintage Star Wars figures. They offer great prices. Sometimes they come with weapons and accessories as well, and they do take offers as well. So make sure to check these two pages out. I'm going to put them on the screen, but I will leave links in the description. But check out these sellers. They are fantastic. They offer great prices, and like I say, they even offer make an offer options as well. So be sure to check those out. But another one I have mentioned in the past is a website called Monkey's Emporium. Now, Monkey's Emporium do amazing cheap Star Wars figures. Now, again, condition varies, but the beauty of Monkey's Emporium is once you've spent over £10, it's free delivery, and we all love free delivery, don't we? So, again, make sure you check them out. It's just one of those things where if you do things well and you're on a budget, it can be done. Like Nick said, I also very much agree with collect how you want. Don't allow anyone to dictate how you should collect, what you should be collecting. I don't believe, there's any rules when it comes to collecting. It's your collection. If it satisfies you and your collection and you like it, then buy it. It is as simple as that as far as I'm concerned. It's not up to anybody else. Make sure you do it how you want to do it. I'm a big believer in that.
Do I look like I care what you think?
But yeah, there we go. Hopefully some of these little hints and tips will help you out. Again, if it satisfies you and your collection, then buy it. But there is no right or wrong way when it comes to Star Wars collecting, and I don't believe that financial status should in any way dictate what you can and can't collect. This line is for everybody, in my opinion, and everyone should be able to enjoy it. So hope those tips help you out on picking up some vintage Star Wars figures in the future on the cheap. Back to you, Nick.
I have been lucky to pick up a few vehicles along the way. This ATST, he's missing his Top Gun. I am going to find a replacement for that at some point in time, but again, no rush. I was very fortunate to get the box, albeit it's battered, it's very beaten up, but there are videos on YouTube showing how to tidy these up, and I think it's worth doing. If that's what you want to do, you're never going to fool anyone as that being a minty box if you tidy it up, but if you're putting it on display, oh, there goes the ATST, it's just fallen over. If you are going to put it on display and you tidy it up, it looks great on a shelf. There certainly are other options as well. Now, this is a Power of the Force 2 X-Wing. Excuse the light and the fact it's not particularly well in frame. It is complete in the box here, it is working. I have had it out and played with it because I am a child. But you can pick these vehicles up for a lot cheaper than the vintage ones, and they're using the same molds as the originals. The electronics have been updated, the stickers have been updated. Again, there's nothing wrong with it. On display, they look great.
So thank you for watching episode 1 of Action Pop Dad, and a massive thank you to Luke Reynolds for stepping in to help me get this video done. I didn't think my first video would be a collaboration, but I'm massively thankful that it was. I've enjoyed doing this. I hope to collaborate with Luke again in the future, and anyone else if they want to. I do have to say a few thank yous to some people in the community. Special big thanks to Dave from Toy Palitoy, who designed all of my logos, all of my video intros. He's been brilliant. He gave me a lesson on video editing. He's even helped me amass some of the equipment I needed to get this channel started. So massive thanks to Dave. Massive thanks to Luke again, who's been very supportive. And a big thank you to the lads from the USR stream, Universal Shabby Reviews. I am going to link them down in the description. They all have their own channels. They'll all be linked in the description. You should definitely give them a follow. Tez, Matt and Shabby, brilliant guys. I think what they do is great, and it really appeals to me and what I enjoy watching. So again, massive thank you. Thank you to anyone. If I've forgotten to mention you, thank you to you as well. Yeah, and I hope this wasn't too painful of a watch. And excuse the background and the difference and the mess, because it's actually my son's 8th birthday today and I cannot move for Playmobil. Perhaps I'll do a video on Playmobil in the future, but until next time, cheers guys.
Here. Mission is capture the queen. Got it, yes. Guns aimed. Me too. Go, go, go. Advance land troops. I'll take you in the 80-80.